All right, the broadcast should be live. Let me just check the IMPT AMA. Let's see. Are we live? We are live. Perfect. Everything's working perfectly. Hello, guys. This is the next AMA. Welcome all our community, all the IMPT community. Welcome, guys and girls. Amazing to have you all here today. We have René Ackermann, and we also have Denis. So what we're going to do is we have René for the first part of the AMA. We have some questions for her, and then we also have Denis. Before we get started, would you like to just quickly introduce yourself, and yeah, we can get going with the questions.
Hey guys, again, it's Denis Creighton, CEO and co-founder of IMPT. But more importantly today, René Ackermann is joining us, and who's our marketing lead and has got some. You can already see the impact of some of her posts over the last couple of weeks and where we're going, and she'll fill you in on some of our plans as part of what we talk about today. Hi, René. Welcome.
Hi everyone, nice to see you all.
Hello, guys. So, René, we have three questions for you. We had the community ask them yesterday, and then I wonder what you can tell us about these. So, the very first question is like, could you please explain the strategy to onboard a large number of people and how to raise awareness of IMPT among the masses? Would you rely solely on social media, or would you also consider advertising through affiliates? Is there a potential possibility to have ambassador for IMPT? And everyone is very curious what you could, share with
well,
us.
in this kind of environment, within a startup environment, you should always look at all aspects of different kinds of marketing. But of course, with community, that's a very big part of what we're doing. So we're also building on other platforms. So we've started a community on CoinMarketCap. We just started a TikTok channel. So we're definitely going to be on other platforms as well to build reach. My plan is also to work on a lot more educational content, a lot more video content to help educate people really as to what we are doing and what the goal is here, because I think sometimes people might not really fully understand how everything works. So it's really important to be transparent and educate people. Also planning on community giveaways, stuff like merchandise, and other types of giveaways, so we can give back to the community. Also working with influencers and doing more AMAs within the communities, and then as well as potentially a future ambassador program, which we can, help build awareness that way, and as well as, local communities that will come eventually, which is more targeted at different countries and different languages as well. Okay. And then, and as for affiliates, for sure, like I said in the beginning, you need to look at all forms of marketing. So that's what we'll be doing.
Amazing. I mean, even yesterday, I spoke with René for like half an hour, and we were speaking about what she has in the kind of in the back of her hands, just to what she's going to plan basically, and it's very exciting. So thank you so much for answering that, René. Second question is, could you provide a detailed overview of your role and responsibilities, as well as we kind of mentioned that in the first question, your strategy, roadmap, an action plan in the upcoming weeks?
Yeah, so again, like I said in the first question, being in a startup environment, you kind of get involved with anything and everything that you can get involved with. So it will be very much creating social content. That means, the static and video, focusing a lot on video. Also creating content at events. I'll be attending some of the events with Denis and Mike, where I'll be like on the ground, creating content, getting some footage from wherever, if they're speaking, or any other kind of content that's possible to get at these kind of events. Yeah. Assisting with the branding, also, creating the merch and so on. And then, again, being involved in all aspects of marketing and just getting involved wherever I'm needed and wherever we can, grow and reach.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. That's very exciting. So, this is the last question for you. Can you elaborate on your background and share more details about your relevant experience?
So I started investing in crypto in 2018, and then I moved into crypto games. From there, I worked for a large exchange where I was on the global social team, and I headed all like video content. So that means offline events, that means TikTok, YouTube. So fun content, educational content, long form, short form, but also for all social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well.
Okay.
So also working with large agencies to create content and managing offline event content as well at large events.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for all these great information. Guys, René has a lot of things planned, and we are, as a community, I think everyone is excited to be able to speak to you and to kind of see your insights. And yeah, thank you so much for being at the AMA, René. Is there anything you'd like to share before we move on to Denis? Or?
Well, I'm just really excited to be a part of the team, and excited to hear from people. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments. I'll be definitely replying to you, and any other way that you would like to get in contact, please do that. And thanks very much.
Thank you so much, René. Thank you.
Thanks, René.
Okay, enjoy.
Thank you.
Let's get this like that. Perfect. This is actually René's background here. She told me to put this for the today's AMA. It looks very nice. So, Denis, how are you?
I'm good, Casper. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's been a while since we've done another one. I'm very excited to be speaking to you again.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
And just keeping the pace that we're doing. Sometimes we forget that we're a startup. But yeah, really happy. Since we last spoke, we've actually we've launched our pre-release use case version 1.5. Which enabled a certain amount of platform shopping and the carbon credits. Some issues on how it operates within mobile, but as we said, it was pre-release. It's not a mobile app. The mobile app version of that will be available when we go live on the 2nd of April. So yeah, it's been great. The take up on both carbon credits and shopping has far exceeded our expectations. So we know we're on the right train.
Amazing. Thank you so much. For kind of sharing the overall, scope of the project. So we got 12 questions today for yourself, and the community is very excited to hear from you. So should we? Let's get started with the question 1. So, can I make purchases with an affiliate link from another country? For instance, can I use a US affiliate link in, let's say, France?
Absolutely. The only thing you have to be careful of there, as in any other online shopping, is the cost of delivery. So you would expect that staying in country is more cost effective. That's not always the case, mind you. So but yeah, to answer your question, it doesn't matter. You can any country.
Okay, amazing. We got question number 2. So what factors does the team believe will create upward price pressure on IMPT token in the short, medium, and long term?
This is always a question I see being popped on Telegram regularly, right? Look, we're staying very focused on our use cases. We're staying very focused on ensuring we're on the right track. Reaction to date in relation to use case 1 and 1.5, I think, has proven that, and where we're going to go with use case 2. A utility token is driven by demand, right? And as we know, the whole market's down at the moment. We're just recovering from the FTX crash, and now we had Silvergate in the last couple of days, which is probably going to slow down the recovery a little bit. But those type of things have an adverse effect on every utility token and in the marketplace. So as we progress with use case 3 and use case 4, use case 5, all of the development cycles that we have planned, you would expect that as the markets are recovering, that demand will actually also will follow as part of our development portfolio and what it is we're doing more retailers on board, direct links with retailers, more shoppers on board. The consequences of some of René's marketing push and where we're going. So the simple thing is you need demand, and demand is what will drive it. And our business plan is to very much drive demand and usage. So you would expect what the consequence of that will be.
Perfect, amazing. Thank you so much for answering that. So question number, sorry, I'm getting lost a little bit here. Next question. Can you provide more specific information about the revenue generated from shopping and carbon credits? Some users have experienced issues purchasing carbon credits, and we would like to know how the issues will be addressed.
So the first thing I would point out was it was a pre-release version. We made it very clear we wanted to get something out there. Most of the issues that we have seen from our support channels at the moment have been in using mobile. Using a web client within mobile can be quite challenging. That's why, as we launch our mobile app in early April, all of those issues will be addressed. And look, any outstanding issues that anybody has, just send them to support@impt.io. Also, you remember, Casper, about 2 months ago, I said we wanted to engage the community as part of the development. So it's feedback and critique rather than criticism. What we're looking for. We didn't go out there saying this is the all singing, all dancing. It was really a beta version, a pre-release version. So we've always maintained that. We've mentioned that in our white paper as well, that we want to work with the people, because in relation to user experience and flows and that, there might be things that we think are logical because we're so close to the project and we're so close to everything in relation to IMPT. Getting feedback from the community will always give us that enhanced look and feel and drive the UX for a customer.
Oh, exactly. And also, I just wanted to kind of add to that, because even like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I opened a Discord channel for suggestions and also, anything that is kind of on the platform that you guys want to share. So whatever the community shares, I pass on to Mike and Denis, and they read it and they take it from there in a sense. So like you mentioned, very open to suggestions, and I'll be passing anything onto Denis and Mike. Cool. Thank you so much for that, Denis. So we got the next question. Once I earned a reward, which is currently pending, I guess that was in the time, how can I convert it into IMPT and then to a carbon credit when I have enough IMPT? I do not see this option on the shopping platform. Are there any plans to implement additional measures to make IMPT more deflationary? Sorry, I can't say what that word.
So, okay, there's two kind of separate questions there. So the first question, yes, the system will tell you when we go with use case 2 in early April. You'll be able to see exactly where you are from point of view of points and scoring. We've had some issues with some people in the early stages, but a lot of that seems to have been addressed now, so people can see what's pending. But that whole information flow will actually be addressed in use case 2. And when we get to use case 3, it'll even be slicker, where you'll actually get to see a lot more detail in relation to the projects that you're engaged in, where you are and what you're doing.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. So what other use cases does the team have in mind beyond use case 2? What are the plans for the 540 million tokens? Are there plans for acquisitions?
So basically, we've numerous use cases that you'd expect, and all of that is about actually always growing the number of retailers, the reach that we have, also growing the number of shoppers, the ability to bridge to Web 2, the ability to actually onboard off-chain people as well. So there is a whole planned out story on how we're going to do that. The other most important thing is, we want to actually own our own, have our own carbon credit network as well. So that would make quite a lot of sense from the point of view of having a lot more input into the complete end-to-end flow and being able to speed up the process and actually just pass out a lot more information to our users. So that's a key part of it. And questions been asked as well, do we still plan to do acquisitions? Absolutely. But they have to be completely complementary to what it is we're doing. They have to have the benefit of actually either driving more shoppers or making more brands available or helping us somewhere in relation to the whole carbon credit network side of things.
Okay.
One of the other things as well, and I probably should have mentioned it on the previous question about the what was it?
It was
what was the word you said that you had, the deflationary element of it? Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we're going to be looking at as well as part of probably use case 3 is bridging onto other networks. And I think that's kind of a critical part of that growth story and where it is we want to go.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for that. So let's get to the next question. So as previously announced, can you provide more? I mean, this Ren kind of touched on that, but I wonder if you can kind of expand on that. As previously announced, can you provide more information about the marketing plans? What campaigns are planned? What is the status of the partnership with Washman?
So I'll start at the last with Washman. So basically, they are our global PR partner and strategy player. So they're working with us on everything that we're doing for the rest of the year, the events that we're going to be attending and speaking at, raising our profile, and basically, giving us that reach, which will be supported then by everything that René mentioned earlier on. I won't repeat some of the stuff, but there's been plenty of commentary as to why aren't we doing more, or are we doing enough on the marketing side? But we're a startup. We are at the position of you cannot continue to market a concept. People actually need to see something tangible. And when we get, we already have use case 1 and 1.5, but when we get use case 2 out there, that will actually start to crystallize a lot of it. And it makes it much easier then to actually start really pushing out there to more retailers, more brands, more shoppers, and institutional investors. So the whole lot gets packaged at that time. So, from that point, you'll already see we've started to do a little bit more over the last couple of weeks. But it's a very clear 12-month rolling plan that's going to accelerate that whole marketing side. And equally, we also have to look at what's giving the best reaction. So there's quite a lot of analytics going on to see what's actually being used more by people. I mean, the growth into TikTok has been an interesting one from a promotional point of view, and that's something that we've just kicked off as well. So it just won't be socials. We'll be using traditional media as well, but it's kicked off, and that's one of the main parts of René's job is to drive that in tandem with what we're doing in the use cases.
That's a lot planned. Yeah, thank you so much for that. So I know that even at the end of last AMA, you mentioned staking. I wonder, can you provide more information about the staking process, including the APY, and whether the staked IMPT can be used for other purposes? Is staking on a decentralized or centralized platform, and will there be a lockup period?
I'm not going to discuss the detail today, but I can announce that we will be announcing our first staking solution next week.
Okay.
On top of that, then, I would say by the end of this month or early next month, there will be another staking solution which we'll be announcing. And again, all the detail will be outlined. Absolutely every question that you ask will be answered on that. And as well as that, after use case 2, we're actually looking at introducing our own staking platform as well in that. So I think the answer is yes, and yes. We will have minimum 2, possibly 3 staking environments over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And certainly one will be live in March, possibly 2.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. That we'll be waiting for the more details and information. So do you think that projects like IMPT could become victims of their own success? If too many carbon credits are retired, the system could collapse, since companies would be unable to afford the required carbon credits if it becomes too scarce or too expensive. The community is curious about your opinion on that.
Very good question, and I think the demand for carbon credits will outlive any of us on this AMA. Last year, 2022, 38 trillion tons of carbon emissions, the highest ever in the history of records. Okay. So there's a lot of focus on it now. There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of business activity to start addressing this. Lots of governments are working together, and you've got a number of agreements right across the globe. So I don't see any issue in this for the foreseeable future. If anything, we still have a significant shortage of credible carbon credits, ones that we are offering, the likes that we can trace right back to their roots, to ensure that there's no double counting, and using the kind of methodology that we're using in how to ensure that you're actually getting a proper carbon credit and actually making a difference to the planet.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. So can you provide more information about the NFTs? Will the collectible NFTs be random or linked to the project from which the carbon credit was purchased?
Very good question. Our use case 3 is actually almost totally devoted to the entire NFT space, right? As you know, some people have picked up on recently that we're using Soulbound, and that basically is digital assets that are directly connected to an individual, right? So at the moment, our use case 3 is actually in design in relation to addressing a lot of the question. It's a very important part of our development. And yes, ultimately, I'd love to get to a position, and that may not be in use case 3, it could be 4, it could be 5, where actually people involved in the actual projects are providing the NFT detail. So we have a couple of ideas around that. You have some challenges sometimes around copyright and ownership and what you can and can't do in relation to that. So that's all part of the plan, but already scoped out and being worked on by the devs for use case 3.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. So could you provide more information? I know that you mentioned that just before. Could you provide more information about the mobile app planned for Q2?
Well, it'll address a lot of people's points that have been raised over the last 2 weeks since we went with 1.5. I mean, basically, it's just going to be a really slick customer experience. It's going to be able to, it'll allow you to do your shopping, it'll allow you to convert to carbon credit and take your carbon credit, but you'll have much better management information, or sorry, user information available to you as well. So it'll be pretty neat. Seen some mock-ups of it, gone through at the moment. It's gone back in for some UX tidy up to make the flow pretty slick, and I think people will be very happy with it. Again, it's use case 2 will address some of the issues that people will come across, and that's just the way we want to develop. We want to get feedback. We want to make this as easy as possible to use. We want to make it as relevant to people's lives. But more importantly, sometimes people get very focused on the tech and they forget what IMPT is about. So what actually making a difference. I mean, one of the things that I would love to get to is a position where basically as part of your shopping, you are almost carbon neutral. So you'll be able to know that the information on that particular product and the reward you're getting back on that product by using IMPT could make that purchase a carbon neutral purchase. We want to get to that level of information flow on the app.
Okay, amazing. That sounds very exciting. I'm sure that we'll receive a lot of information and details on that. So how can a potential buyer track the price of carbon credits and its performance over time? Is there a way to access historical data like you find with stocks? Are carbon credits liable for VAT sales tax? And do buyers receive a proof of purchase? Sorry.
Another very good question. Part of what will come in future use cases will be the ability for you to track and engage with the actual carbon credit programs that you're involved in. When we get to our own position of having our own carbon registry, right, that will really help us then to be able to give that information. As it is at the moment, and that the actual pricing of that, we can put a link directly back into the programs themselves. So that will help. And what was the second part of the question? Sorry, Casper.
No worries. Are the carbon credits liable for VAT sales tax, and do buyers receive a receipt or a proof of purchase?
So the NFT is your receipt from the point of view of guaranteeing that it's yours and it's safe and secure. In relation to anything to do with taxation and VAT and all that, that's something you'll have to ask your accountant, or it's very specific to each country.
Yeah, you know what? We actually spoke a lot about because I know in the white paper we have a full diagram from you guys showing each step possible in the project. And it's a very useful diagram, and I actually use it a lot with the community. So guys, if you want to see that kind of, how you can build things and how the project kind of works in a easier way to kind of, if you have to like visualize it, you can go to the white paper and you'll see a full diagram there from start to kind of it's kind of like diagram full of like, different ways of how you can go about things. So make sure to check it out. Denis, we have second to last question. So what is the roadmap for Q3? I know you mentioned that before. Q3, Q4, and what plans for the coming years?
So I think I've covered all of that in some previous questions. I mean, it's very much each use case is about addressing a lot of points that have been addressing all the points that have been raised. And it's about making it as easy as possible for people to actually make a difference to the planet by their regular shopping. Some of the important things there, I think I've mentioned, is bridging onto other networks, the ability that we're bridging Web 3 and Web 2 and off-chain and off-net solution as well, so that everybody has access to IMPT. And as a result of that, then has access to the carbon credits, and the consequence of that is making a difference to the planet. Okay. So that's very much the plan. It's constant series of use cases. If we need to make any updates in relation to white paper, all that, we'll make sure that that's available. I mean, another part of it as well is we talk very much about the consumer and the consumer journey at the moment, but there's a B2B element of what we're doing as well, which is where businesses can, buy carbon credits and engage with their buying community, that carbon credits could become part of a solution set as well. So we're fleshing that out with them as well as part of the reward mechanism. There's so many opportunities. What we're trying to do at the moment is ensure that we stay focused on the pieces that are very user focused and shopping focused and carbon credit focused. But it's growing that then into I think I might have covered in the first or second AMA, where we want to look at the entire supply chain element of everything to do with shopping, so that every touch point, if you make a little bit of a difference, that actually can generate a carbon credit, or at least rewards or carbon credits, you're beginning to change the entire customer journey, the entire life cycle of a product, and actually making more of a difference.
Okay, yeah, amazing. That sounds in depth. So Denis, we have the very last question. So when you hold IMPT tokens, if I buy a carbon credit, won't the IMPT token go back into the pool, increasing the supply and potentially causing the price to drop? Am I misunderstanding this?
So I actually think I know who sent that question to you, because I've tried to answer it before on one of the channels. At the moment, what we're doing is we are holding those IMPT tokens, right? In the future, there are a number of different plans that we have for that. Some I don't want to go into today because they're very much at the discovery stage. One of the options are some of this can be used for staking. I'd like to be able to find some way as well of using the actual IMPT tokens as part of the retail play, so that it creates actually more demand and actually drives more interest in what it is we're doing. So, okay. But in the short term, we are holding the IMPT tokens. They are not being circulated back into the market. So that has no adverse effect.
Okay, thank you so much, Denis. Guys, this was the very last question. It was a great AMA, Denis. Thank you so much once again for being here. Is there anything you would like to share with the community before we kind of head off?
No, look, I really appreciate the help and support, as much as the criticism and critique comes through as well. Next weekend, we're actually going to be speaking in Dubai at the World Blockchain Summit, where we're a gold sponsor there. Significant interest in IMPT. That event is one of the biggest ones of the year. A lot of people reaching out to us and looking to connect with us when we're there as well. So, really looking forward to that. It's the first time that our new branding will be, I suppose, exposed to the big bad world. And, the first time we'll be able to introduce some of our merchandise and, some of the things that we're doing. So, yeah, really looking forward to that and putting a lot of prep into making sure that we put our best foot forward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, amazing. I mean, I'm sure that we're going to see pictures, maybe some videos from the, yeah, amazing. I'll be sharing that with everyone. All right, cool. I mean, Denis, thank you once again. Thank you to everyone who joined the AMA today. And then, yeah, we'll speak to you in the next one.
And thanks very much again, Casper. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.